That's a good song. I wish I could play that on Wednesday night on Tiger G's KNB radio show. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, good morning. Yabba dabba 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 doo. Welcome to another Saturday morning edition here of Chairwoman Gwendena Lee-Gatewood's Facebook show on social media. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Jerry Glochet Jr. It's an honor, privilege to be here offering some information today. We got some very valuable, strong information, a lot of stuff related to COVID. It's making a very strong comeback here, and so we got a lot to talk about that. It's 46 degrees outside here at North Fork, Arizona. Welcome to another show. Let's welcome the Honorable Chairwoman Gwendena Lee-Gatewood.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. All right. I wonder how cold it is out there where you are. Woo, man.
I went outside and I'm like, I better just go inside and do the show.
Yeah, it's 46 out there right now. All right, Chairwoman. Well, it's Saturday, January 15. Can you believe that already? The middle of January. Time going by very quick here. You have any announcements this morning? Birthdays? Anything happening?
I just want to wish the girls. I believe they're playing Alchese Falcons. They're playing out of town. Wish them luck, and the cheerleaders that are traveling with them. You know, those cheerleaders, they do a lot for the team. They conjure up the positive energy. They are cheerleaders, they're leaders, they support the team and the fans. And when they're behind, it's still their job to rally support and to do what they have to do. And I just want to give the cheerleaders a lot of thank yous and good encouragement, because they really do a lot. When you think about it, they have to be athletic as well and have a good loud voice, and they're coming out of their shell, if you will, to do all of that to be our cheerleaders. So thank you to the cheerleaders. Good luck to the team. And I think you, Jerry, were out in Sibicu last night broadcasting the game.
Yes, I was. It's a little different atmosphere. The girls, the Chibico Lady Wildcats, their first 7 games, they lost every one of them. I saw them at Springerville at the Round Valley Shootout, and they were just coming together. And now the last 8 games prior to last night, they won 7 out of those 8, so they were on a hot streak. But you know what happened? COVID. I don't like that. And so it affected some of the chemistry. Some players weren't able to participate, and some just came out of the COVID protocol. And so the girls were, kind of a little different, but they really looked good, the Lady Wildcats, and they end up losing to St. David last night. And then we did the boys, and 3 starting players, you have 5 on the team, 3 of them, that's more than half, are not available because of COVID. They're in the middle of the COVID protocol. So they fought and battled and best as they could with, they only had 8 players last night. And so they didn't really have a bench. So they were huffing and puffing there. Wow, we got a lot of people tuned in today.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. And so anyway, there was no fans. For a big game like that one, it would have been jam-packed in there. But again, I think because of COVID, I'm not sure, because I got there kind of late myself. They only allowed parents, I think. And then, of course, all the visiting folks from St. David, which is just south of Benson, I guess, in that area. So anyway, Chairwoman, let's take a look at this one here. I just saw this a while ago, and let me make sure I get it right. Oh, right there. I'm going to go up slow. Look at the price of that, the year.
1990, 25 cents. There's our extraordinary leader of our time,
Yeah.
who has
What
gone
were you
on.
doing in the year 1990?
Jerry,
You
in
were
1990, I was at Northern Arizona University. I
uh,
just finished my reign as Miss Apache Rodeo Queen for the White Mountain Apache tribe. So, speaking of Rodeo Queen, producer, if you could put up a banner at this time. We have our very own tribal member, Zipporah Lupi. Best of luck. We're rooting for you. She's a contestant in the Miss Rodeo USA. The coronation is tomorrow. There she is on the far right. And this is coming from the office of the tribal chairwoman and the staff, and of course, the entire tribe. She's been posting videos from the Miss Rodeo USA Facebook page. And they're also doing a lot of different events. So Zipporah is a cowgirl. She's also been a former Miss White Mountain Apache Queen. Her family comes from a lot of pageantry and rodeo champions. So best of luck to her out there in Oklahoma City, that Oklahoma borderline.
Oklahoma. Wow. So,
Yeah.
yes, best of luck to her. Congratulations. I think she might be the first one. I really don't know the history of all of that, but I think really in hearing all of this, the first tribal member to be a contestant in the, what is it? Miss Rodeo USA?
Yeah, Miss Rodeo
Wow,
USA.
that is a
Yeah.
huge, huge undertaking. Way to go. Good luck, Zipporah. And she's the former Miss White Mountain Apache Queen, beautiful young lady. And so best of luck to her. So, yeah, Chairwoman, back in 1990, you were a student, and I was a student as well. We probably both had no idea what our road, our trail ahead of us would wind up to. But somehow, my trail kind of went towards working with Chairman Lupi, and so did yours. And we worked for him honorably, the honorable chairman, for 12 years. He got in 2006, and then we helped him finish his grand illustrious career. And then after that, he encouraged you to run, and he endorsed you and supported you. And behold, look where you are, and look where I am. I'm still working around the office here, and so kind of interesting how this whole thing had turned about. And but you know what? One of the strangest things too, we got some experience now, and you just completed your first 4 years, and you're vying for another bid here. You had quite a few signatures, but no one would have ever predicted COVID-19. You know, what in the heck is COVID-19? You mean a virus is going to come in that time? I'm like, yeah, it sure did. And it sure has done a big number. So, anyway, that's what we're dealing with, Chairwoman. And my estimation, I know I'm biased here, but I really think you have done a fabulous and outstanding job. Very disciplined leadership, and so it takes that kind of movement to get people shaking and moving around, and to adhere. And so we've come a long ways. So anyway, just a little tidbit there. I did find that newspaper this morning. I was trying to look for my notebook, and I said, "Hey, look at this." Anyway, all right,
I
Chairwoman.
I can't
Yeah.
believe the Fort Apache Scout was a quarter. A
Right now,
quarter.
it's a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. It costs 4 quarters now. Man, yeah. But the
But
latest edition there, yeah.
yeah, but I just want to say, with COVID-19, the whole world is in this fight against COVID-19. There's a lot of opinions about this or that, but very, very grateful to the healthcare team at Indian Health Service, the Johns Hopkins University staff, CHR, those ladies and gentlemen at CHR working with everybody. rolling up their sleeves and doing what they have to do. EOC, the first responders, you, the public, and our tribal council. The list goes on and on. It's a unified effort, and I couldn't thank all of you. There are varying opinions about COVID-19, and some of the things that I get as a chairwoman is, what are you going to do to protect me, chairwoman? And I will ask, did you get your vaccination? Most of the time, the people that say that, no, I didn't get my vaccination. I see that you're not wearing a mask. Can you wear a mask? No, wear a mask. And you know, when you're not following the protocols, somewhere along the line, you know, you're setting yourself up for, you know, who knows what. And if we all would just practice a little more, I know we're tired of COVID-19. I know we're tired of wearing a mask and doing all the things that we have to do. But if we would just do it, we've been saying it for 2 years now, and providing incentives and such. You know, what goes on in your household is you're the one in charge. And if you can help in this process, it will really help our healthcare facilities so that we don't bombard them with a lot of illness related to COVID-19. I know our neighboring hospital, Summit Hospital, has a giant sign that says they're over capacity, but I'm very grateful that our local Indian Health Service has been working with all the other organizations, going door to door, knocking on doors, checking up on everybody as best as they can. And granted, sometimes they may not get the best welcome, but they're doing it because we care. We want our people to be protected. And, you know, we have to continue to do what we have to do to keep moving forward. And thank you to all of you because of what you have done. Yes, we have some, you know, drawbacks, but for the most part, we have been able to get people vaccinated. And if you haven't gotten your booster, get your booster shot and wear your masks. And even if you might not agree with wearing a mask, some other vulnerable person out there that probably needs you to wear your mask to protect them, that's a good way of looking at it. So, but thank you, all of you. At this time, we continue to stand in solidarity against COVID-19.
All right. Thank you, John Andreas, for the commentary. Thank you, Chairwoman. Very good. You know, earlier on the shout outs, I forgot a very important one, and I better do it now. Otherwise, I'll be doing push-ups all day, man. I want to wish happy birthday to my beautiful wife here. Can you come in? She's right there. Oh, so it's her birthday today, and so happy birthday, and I love you, Kunko.
Well, we
Okay.
love Erica. Thank you, Erica, for, I know during the times that we've been in lockdown before the vaccine came out, and we were pushing masks out with the mail. Erica rolled up her sleeves and joined us to get that out to everybody that we were mailing things out. And she stepped forward other times to help the office, and that's to help you, the people. And Erica is just a tremendous woman. She grew up around my siblings, the same age, and athletic lady, as so are her siblings. But I just have to give a shout out to her for having the care and compassion to do what she does in her career to help our people and those that are overcoming challenges. It takes a lot, and I appreciate her compassion, her good heart. And you and her, Jerry, have raised a beautiful little girl who is now a college graduate. strong, independent woman, and then your stepchildren as well, doing good things. You know, it's all about family and raising children to be good citizens. So thank you both.
All right. That's from the chairwoman. All right. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. I didn't mean for that to happen. She just walked by earlier and was like, oh yeah, it's her birthday today. Okay. So anyway, hey, chairwoman, the governing body, you are the leader of the governing body. They recently made a mandate and decided upon a resolution giving a lot of authority to the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center. Could you
Oh, there
talk
it is.
about that, and then we
Yeah.
can introduce our special guests?
Yeah, Mr.
The
Producer,
okay.
if you could keep that, if you could keep that resolution up. This resolution is numbered 2021-22 222. And this resolution gives the EOC the authority to unpause the alert system. And the alert system, if you will remember, is if when we are in the emergency phase, phase 1, 2, or 3, and it has color phases, it's on the dashboard. But this gives the EOC the authority to pause and resume the alert system. And this was only done after the tribal council consulted with White River Indian Health Service and the EOC, and they presented it again to the tribal council, that adopting these measures was in the best interest of the tribal members. And you're probably wondering, why did that happen? Well, when you're in the middle of a pandemic and when you're in the middle of trying to keep protocols going, you know, you need to make decisions promptly so that the healthcare, public health needs are being met. And that gives the EOC the authority. We have an incident commander, Carlos Valadez, and his group. Not just anybody can be a member of the EOC. You have to have a significant training in incident command system. I know in the very beginning, when COVID first began, the EOC did seek out certain individuals to come and join the group and move forward. But some of them, unfortunately, declined at the time. But nonetheless, they have been moving forward, setting up these protocols, and this allows for COVID-19 vaccines and booster shots to continue. They plan those with our health officials. They go and announce when non-essential events are prohibited, you know, various things that they implement. And this resolution gives them that authority. And the reason why we're sharing this with you was when the recent decisions were made, because our numbers were so high, people were wondering, well, why is this happening? Why is the EOC making the calls? Well, the EOC is handling this public health incident, and they are helping, working with health officials out there. And di llawn llat na ira kit di hat onwa akalza di ni dabil tell how la ara llet ko da llawn da niskai out e gulzel awa di 629 yui kahi out e ka na di hibiwa di na sos no hui anyo sitso zi resolution no he nan ta i wada isokne la November 2021 na di koyawariste o alert system that di how emergency operations center no da hanada ihi haye da tehen bihi haye hatira yaho belchina da itin dolehi dina sosi e no hinata ida yewada isohde la eye njonko se eye bitaya EOC ndo ni che darita holati ko how now gai ni incident commander ansitihin public health bich ejidel in de daniskai hi how bich o dihi di izet nantan bishna isi kodolel shinanin ayet anje on chida anons iodolel kulzel alze dinatso situzi ana no hinanta e hatoa ayedo ha biche daritara nzi leyu leye di no hinanta e narabin stok daro di alte gulzehe lasa da wasan kahla e kero jadolel gulzele yu dahatle hati ba idina she no hinanta e delce sai kahoja e kero ja beori gaho kulkina dahatle ba idina gunziho di dead daniskai yeo bichos he dash chain how bicho di do le a that said that's ne awa dashik EOC how ya net to the case ira ko be kahon ze nantan they say yesana kahmbesto aid an no hayul si is it nantan don't sayo ben so solinida alze awa diko di resolution idiko arasin tlahi ola awa katye ati how 629 dan sky he how ko no da na suki tsikai san inde klai inde kurau lini how bich odai di hi katye a bi na kayola awa di resolution ni no da ashlet and sihoni eya hala da no si hebiwa le handi sa jo banaro chi how la anle kolat it el benauga ze ekerowi no henant le EOC le e asidil laurahan ko another in kara e bikaji anara bilsin haton kan lag adi ajodo hat el dahan ya kenzi hora get out leye ndini di nde bicho di hibi wahiola nde nazi out in no hi okahin di stora e no hicho di awa dil na tizikeson eriko handi ye onoje os leishin di bik ehoidan da wahano haslan no ha aila e ba ketchen zihna do kire down clean dira wa bich edain hon da rostile yon esto is it nantan bich ojo diola katyu is it nantan is it nantan benal dai gahin de nat da ozzelje eit hanara yosta leyo da ites bilto berich benatsikesi na iziki awa dan dilto bich il no he basta o le no he cantanada keso da berawa bich leyo da anadik ono ye titni awa da ko be kahodo lestistio adisti ana ahehe.
All right, thanks, Chairwoman. We got questions about curfew, questions about the booster shots. We got shelter in place questions on that. And there's a data graph that Derek will like to show. And so without further ado, we have a couple of members from the Emergency Operations Center from White Mountain Apache Tribe, the EOC. Chairwoman, could you introduce them? There's Derek.
Yes, right. There's Derek. Derek Leslie is our policy professional when it comes to writing policies. Of course, he always double checks with our legal department to make sure how things are written is for the best interest of the White Mountain Apache people before it gets presented to the Tribal Council. And he is a member of the Emergency Operations Center. And I'm not sure if you're joined with Carlos, but welcome, Derek. We're so happy to have you here.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. I'm actually here with Shannon. We're on our way to get groceries for the quarantine home. So we are on the road this morning, working and making sure that we have food available for our quarantine homes. But thank you for having me on this show. I definitely appreciate any opportunity to share information with the public regarding what we're doing at the EOC. And as you mentioned, the Tribal Council passed a resolution on Wednesday, which unpaused the alert system and set into motion the subsequent 10 the shelter in place. And we've been receiving a lot of questions. Curfew is at 8 p.m. You are allowed to leave your home for essential runs, essential basically. So if you need to go get groceries, if you need to go get your prescriptions, if you need to go see your doctor, your counselor, your therapist, if you need to go to school or work, you are allowed to leave. But we ask that you be home by 8 p.m. curfew, if at all possible. Obviously, if you're going to seek medical care beyond that, then that's understandable, as well as your job. But like you said, as of yesterday, we had 629 new COVID-19 cases on the reservation. We had an increase of 108. And as many of you may know, on Wednesday we had an increase of 134, which is what set into motion everything that we have been doing since then. And so this shelter in place will be for 2 weeks until January 27th. Is when we will be reevaluating the shelter in place, and we hope to have better answers. And if the producer can pull up the graph showing the past, so if you can see here, this is a graph of all of our cases and our hospitalizations since March of 2020. And the top graph in the blue is all of our active cases. And then the bottom yellow line is our hospitalization rates. And I don't know if you can, I'm hoping you can see it, but all the red lines are when we had lockdown slash shelter in places. And so historically speaking, it seems to indicate that what we're doing with the shelter in places and the lockdowns is working. And if you can see, if you have the opportunity to zoom in after any lockdown or shelter in places, our numbers drastically decrease. And so we'd like to assume, obviously there are many other variables to consider, but looking at this graph in historical terms, they are working. And so we anticipate and we're hopeful that we'll have a similar situation with the current spike that we're seeing. I know last week Dr. McCauley had shared that COVID or the Omicron variant tends to affect our upper respiratory tract, so your mouth, your nose, and your throat, which may explain why it's more contagious. And we haven't had any confirmed cases that we are aware of, but we have every reason to believe that our drastic increases are a result of the Omicron variant. And so, this graph again historically seems to indicate that that they're working, and so we're hopeful that this current shelter in place will we'll see similar results from that as well. And so we are currently working on finalizing dates for a mass community vaccine clinic at the end of next week. We hope to have all of the dates and times and locations finalized and published by Tuesday, but we anticipate it to be on Thursday or Friday. And just here a quick recap of the 2 week shelter in place. And obviously, it started on January 13th all the way until January 27th. And there are some events and activities that you are allowed to do. Wood cutting is allowed, hunting is allowed in accordance to current ordinances. Students are allowed to go to school, schools are allowed. And then sports events are allowed to happen, but with no spectators. That's the White River Unified School District. And so there's church services. We ask that there be drive up only at this time. And then essential employees were all notified or should have received a notification in their email. Funerals and wakes, we ask that there'd be no wakes during this shelter in place, and that all funeral services be restricted to graveside services only. And so I think the last time we had a lot of frequently asked questions regarding wood cutting. Like I stated earlier, it is allowed as long as you have your appropriate permits from the business office, as long as you have your correct permits, and so through the tribe. So those are allowed. Schools are allowed. And as many of you know, next week the White River Unified School District is also pausing their learning. So next week will be no school for the White River Unified School District. And I know that East Fork Lutheran is going online all of next week. CBQ School, we met with them on Thursday, and they'll be, as far as I know, they'll be a normal schedule with their COVID restrictions in place. And so everyone seems to be responding in similar fashion. And so the other schools I have not heard from as of yesterday, but I definitely do plan on reaching out to them next week just to go over some of the logistical concerns and issues. But the White River Unified School District and the EOC and IHS is meeting again on Wednesday to go over the situation and evaluate how best to proceed forward in potentially extending the pause for an additional week. And so, what is essential shopping days? That's a really good question, Avis. So basically, you're allowed to leave your home to go get essential supplies. So shopping is one of them. So last year, the last time we had a lockdown, we were doing essential days, but this time around, you're allowed to leave any time before 8 p.m. to go on your grocery runs, and so as long as you're back before the 8 p.m. curfew, and so just keeping that in mind, we did get notification from Bashes that that their shelves were empty, but they are working on addressing that and having uh, restocking their shelves. Nationally, we're seeing a supply demand that hasn't happened before, and so we are working with Bashes on that. And so we hope to have the shelves restocked if they aren't already. So this is going on all over the country, and so it's sort of put a strain on some of the regular normal shopping that we're used to, and so because of that, in light of that, I should say, we decided not to do essential days because it's gonna over crowd the pool or the shopping opportunities. And so, with that said, you're allowed to leave anytime after 5 a.m. and before 8 p.m. to do your grocery shopping. And so, keep that in mind. We ask that you wear a mask while you're out in the public. And so, it seems to be that. And thank you, Sherry Altahal, for informing us that McNary School has no school as well. So thank you, Mrs. Altahal. It looks like TRS has no school as well. And so we definitely are evaluating this. Like I said, we're having a community testing next week, Thursday or Friday. The CDC from Atlanta with Health and Human Services is bringing in a team to help with testing. And so what we're trying to avoid or mitigate is so our ERs, White River Service Unit ER, has been bombarded with patients wanting to be tested. And so to help alleviate the strain on the IHS, we're setting up a community testing clinic next week at some point. And so we hope to have those dates and other specific information finalized and sent out and available by Tuesday. So I know I'm going really, really fast, and I apologize for that. Chairwoman and Jerry, I don't know if there's any specific questions you have.
We have a Basha comment from Miss Goldtooth there. They're open 6 to 7. We appreciate Basha's commitment to abiding by our protocols, but they too also have safety measures that they have incorporated. D. Derek Leslie, no la ha essential days no ha alzada da will tell la account any AAU Tuesdays and Thursdays yendas yan bikach irigahog et el at any dini hatuado harak ari danosinshi a Dathanye store you cannot kahyu aye ye natle sao at yan sine no icha dashi do hara natle hibiwa da count da haya yan anti be count nanta ye wayo onanta you ko yo jadao tsi consejo tiko era islala anati EOC kachu han tehen spi diki quarantine and tok at ye nada izikla chian ye kariskai sound na iziki alze indini eno chita aula say ani to graph da hindi how the koi how also ze be wahyo shijection how also kashijection edan wa sinai nil aho di kana stihi out I want to gasheda ostakik at you tehe no spi besto di glado hada otara roles White River Unified School District next week do hada otara roles Chabito yen, de sto chigashada of Takido Hada of Tadalesh. Theodore Roosevelt School, A and de sto hada of Tadalesh, dini A packets by Dilni, La Chigashe, Diban al Kayodalesh, Wayona Sultana Ozel, Distribico Huja, Dagoda Otakodalesla, A be school board, Ethanidinil Aho, how out loud and Sky Shintle, cool, how out A, Thinidinil Aho, Dajik da otakdolesh bausetla East Fork Lutheran di yahatsi au online da otakdoleshla katyayu account di 629 da niskai hibiwa anjo no hanau di tahidoleshla ako atek atju benadaltiodolesh ana di hayona kayu no himas da leo no kantanadal keso no hiltito Derek.
Chairwoman, I also wanted to mention, if you live with or if you frequently visit someone, or if you yourself are a dialysis patient, we ask that you are especially careful when you go out. Right now, we're having issues with some of the dialysis centers across the state not having chairs available for COVID positive dialysis patients. And so we're working with IHS and Summit. Right now, we have about 4 patients who have not received dialysis because the waiting time at these clinics for a COVID positive are about 70 people long. And so we are working, the only the only chairs that are available are out of state. And so if you're a dialysis patient, or if you visit someone who is a dialysis patient, we ask that you be extra careful around them because it seems to be affecting them a lot more severely than anyone else who is not a dialysis patient. And so one thing I also wanted to mention is some of the trends that we're seeing on our surveillance is many people who were infected in the past are getting reinfected, and so we don't have the exact numbers on that. But so far it seems to be that the second time around they're symptomatic, whereas the first time they maybe were asymptomatic and it's not as severe. They're just coughing and headaches, and there's various other symptoms. But we are seeing a trend where a lot of people are getting back onto our surveillance system who were positive in 2020 or even 2021. And so it is possible to get the virus a second time, and it seems to be affecting everyone differently. Like I said, we've so far seemed to see that a lot of people who were asymptomatic the first time are symptomatic the second time, just not as severe. And so, like the chairwoman said, our beds across the state are filling up, are at capacity. Many facilities are providing crisis level of care. And so we definitely want to keep those beds available to people who need them. And so, again, if you are a dialysis patient, or you live with someone or visit someone who is a dialysis patient, we ask that you please be careful around them because the waiting list for to have someone see you to get your dialysis care definitely is not what it used to be. So right now they opened up another site here in the state, but there are only 2 clinics that will take dialysis patients who are positive. And like I said, the waiting list is about 70 patients long. And so
Yeah.
it seems to be affecting all areas of our everyday life. And so, but I always say, we'll get through this, guys. We'll get through this the same way we've been doing since March of 2020, together and with prayer. We know many of you are fatigued from the virus, the pandemic. It's going to be 2 years here in March, but we're a strong and prayerful people. I think that we just have to remember that it's not going to be like this forever. It will get better, and if you haven't got your vaccines or your booster doses, we ask that you please consider getting those. Whatever IHS has the clinic set up in their specialty building, and so definitely keep that in mind. Continue to wear your mask even when you leave the reservation. All around us, the virus is everywhere at this time. And so just always wear your mask and wash your hands and social distance as much as possible. Um, but yeah, we'll get through this, guys. I'm confident. We will see brighter days ahead. And so, unfortunately, we just have to go through this current wave. They're anticipating it to peak about 4 to 6 weeks. We are following trends in South Africa and Japan, and it seems like once they hit their peak, it's a drastic decline in numbers. And so, we're waiting for that peak. And like I said, what we're monitoring is historically, once we've done a shelter in place slash lockdowns, our numbers tend to decrease drastically. And so we're hoping that's the case in this time around. But, we're ever cautious, and we'll keep the community as informed as possible.
And
I got a question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to say there's really not a one size fits all when you're dealing with COVID, because it's different variants. The virus is changing. People react differently. The vaccine has shown efficacy. What I mean by efficacy is that they help us to not get as sick. So
The dashboard, could you show that again? There is a number to the far right, and it's under the total number vaccinated as of that date, Pfizer vaccine. And so you got the first dose, the second dose, those are big numbers. But look at the third dose, it's less than half. And so Derek just mentioned that they're noticing that a trend in those that had got COVID previously are getting it again. And so it might be wise for all of us here, if you haven't already, to get your third booster. I'm glad I did. I got the flu shot at the same time about 2-3 weeks ago. I had a scare. I was like, oh no, my throat's feeling no good, and my nasal. Turned out it was I guess maybe a sinus infection or whatever, but it was kind of awful. I was spitting out junk. But I'm glad to be a part of that number, the first number to the top and to the left, number of COVID-19 tests, 47,689. I'm a part of that, and then I'm also jumped to the third box there, negative. And so I've been tested, I think, 8 times, and 8 times I've been negative. So far, so good. I hope I stay this way, and you never know, but we're going to try our best, and that's the best we can do. It's just the basic reality is you don't know if you have COVID right at the beginning. You can't see COVID, and and even maybe some asymptomatic people have it and they don't know they have it, but you know what? They're carriers, they're spreaders. And so, man, this is just a hard thing to deal with. And best thing to do is just stay at home if you can help it.
yeah,
Stay at home. It's just
yeah.
simple. And then wear
You
your
know,
mask. I didn't bring my mask. Go ahead, Chairwoman.
I just wanted to say President Burnett commented earlier. Her comment came on the screen, and she is president of Fort McDowell Yavapai Apache Nation, and they too are battling COVID. And they recently held their elections, and they're just keeping it to the candidates only. It's simple and short, and they're done with it. So COVID isn't just here; it's everywhere else. So we have to do our part, and just keep doing the protocols. I know we're tired of it, but we love our families. We love our children. We love our relatives, and we want to help them and our friends. Everybody, put on this solidarity stand against COVID-19, and encourage you to get your vaccines and your children. That's also open right now. We have a pediatric immunization shot for them too. So when that opens up, please get your booster, get your second shot, do what you have to do, and that will help you.
I want to make another comment. I was at CBQ for the broadcasting of the boys and girls varsity game. on my way back home into the downtown metropolitan White River, Arizona, USA. It was a ghost town. There was nobody around. Burger King was closed. Bash's was closed. Hardly anybody on the road. That is good. White Mountain Apache Tribe, I'm proud of you. Keep it up, okay? I know you're abiding by curfew, and then you're also abiding by shelter in place. That's just something we got to do, and the best policy is just don't take chances. Keep yourself safe, and the best way to do that is stay isolated, stay home. All right. Well, Chairwoman, anything else on this?
Just, continue to encourage your children to do their part. I know it affects the children just as much. And it was my hope that we could keep the schools going, but I totally respect the school boards and their decisions. As long as kids are at home learning, if they don't have homework or any packets that were sent home, I encourage you parents out there to use the modern technology of your cell phone. And if you have an elder that lives with you, have your child have a daily log of how they feel, and interview grandma or grandpa and record it on here and save it. And then what the kids write 30 years from now, the kids that are their age at that time, it can be like a historical piece, and that
Right.
could also help. And that's what I asked the Theodore Roosevelt School board. I'm part of the board to consider, why not give the kids a homework assignment? I tell them to write about how they feel or what's going on. And all of that can be compiled into a book or a little packet. And then it could be a part of the school's history, so that 20, 30 years from now, the kids at Theodore Roosevelt School at that time can then read the book and say, oh, look, in 2022, Sammy, who's now, going to be 45-ish, 40 years old, this is how he felt. And it was during a pandemic. And he was feeling these emotions, and I feel that way. It's kind of a healing sort of therapy, if you will. And kids, they need all kinds of different therapy, and they need our encouragement. We need to continue to encourage our children to do their best, and we also need to be positive role models for them. I know we make mistakes. Parenting doesn't come with the book, neither does raising kids, but it takes a village to raise a child, and we've got great kids, and we're doing what we can to help them through COVID too. So no hichigasha banatilke so bichirtio di enatland ebiltarultio da ilkan leya kuye onich it was aye on kado lesta ora haji a okahi big ohidan kiritsi ate biltio bichirtio the aya bilkaun biltotlon at sikesi ate awadik at yerik on which it was lane de okahi which that is on big ohidan which odihi no hilsi ya iti which it ba adan di le da aya no hich odi di not erstio arsti no hilto in de jo zelo danotli no hinatsikesi no hi kegati Jodon Sayura, Dak Ora Eben Narasilsile, Anna Ahia.
So, Chairwoman, right in front of the Memorial Hall in downtown White River, there's actually a time capsule right by that Veterans Monument. And I recall Chairman Lupi saying in 75 years from whenever that thing was erected, that it would be time to look into it. And I think it's getting closer and closer to that time, 75 years. That'll be something to see what was going on 75 years ago. But I like history. And so, we can never predict the future. And so just imagine this one again. Look at it. It's from 1990. And that was 22 years ago. A young lady named Gwendena and a young, really handsome guy named Jerry. They were both in college, and now 22 years later, there's this thing called internet, social media, and and one of them is the chairwoman. Oh my gosh. And first one for White Mountain Apache Tribe. So what you did, your idea to encourage those students at Theodore Roosevelt School to write about what's going on now in relation to COVID. And then, 22 years later, somebody's going to be in their 40s now. They'll look back and it's like, oh yeah. And who knows what's going to happen the next 22 years. What if, I don't even want to say, but hopefully we will get control of this pandemic, and it's pretty scary. All right, Chairwoman. Well, we are almost near winding down here. Alchese Lady Falcons and the Falcons boys team are going to Monument Valley. They play this evening. Oh, I would love to go. I've never been to Monument Valley. I'd like to see those monuments, but I thought about it. It's like, it's just too much. But Monday Night Football, Cardinals are on. And so it's a playoff game against the Rams. So there's some
Jerry,
good
what
reasons to
happened the
stay home.
last game? What happened the last game?
The Cardinals,
They lost, right?
yeah, they just basically ran into a good team, and they hopefully will get JJ Watt back and their wide receiver.
But they're in the playoffs, and that's good.
They're in the playoffs. This is the one that counts. This is what we were waiting for and hoping for. So they had that winning streak early on in the year, and they're rewarded now. So Monday Night Football, yeah, there's games today. There's games tomorrow. But believe it or not, on Monday night, and it's your Cardinals. Yeah, so it's something to look forward to. Yabba dabba do. Go Cardinals. Come on, go Cardinals. Oh, let me see. Right there. Yeah, right there. Okay. Well, closing thoughts, Chairwoman. Another fabulous show here today.
Yeah, really thankful for the guests. Wishing Zipporah a lot of luck, and the athletes that are traveling to go play ball, and the cheerleaders to keep on cheering. I saw a comment by a parent earlier. I'm glad the girls got their goodie bags. I also wrote them a letter, and that's coming from my heart, that letter to the cheerleaders. And it's from Laura, Cynthia.
Whoa.
Yeah, those goodies, and the cheer squad. And Kaylee Opa was grateful for it. Kaylee, you and the girls, thank you for cheering the team. You have to be a leader. You have to have a strong voice. You have to, just keep the crowd going. And even though the team may be losing, you're still got to have that positive vibe. You girls, you have an outstanding coach, Linda Lupi. May all of you girls always, always have that cheering spirit, encouraging others. May you always have that. It's truly a gift. Ashona Talano he Alchese High School cheerleaders. Jiki handi tla das te lashin ik ari Alchese ya dadil gosho cheerleaders danli hayo bel naralze yo aku itaha onaka itaha ishka dadil gosho do dajik dag o ta tel ya dadil gosho dag o rahaji akarat ele Chigasherik o arat a rahaji atin a beradich nile kelta e chigashelto beradich new no he chigasha dalhano nakukihi dak o rahaji bichera is dion te distio adishti di Alchese High School cheerleaders la in the schools that be cheerleaders Icharaudi Joba Kensi. Thank you, girls, and thank you, Linda, taking time out after school to help them with their cheers, their chants, making sure the girls are getting good grades and, staying on top of them. Thank you.
Chairwoman, I still remember the cheer squad from the Jayhawk days when I was at White River Elementary. Go,
give us a cheer.
Team, go. Boom, 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 boom. Fight, team, fight. Boom, 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 boom. Win, team, win. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So anyway, my daughter, it was a cheer captain at Cradleboard Elementary, and then at cheer captain at middle school and cheer captain at Alchese. And you know what? True story. Not many people know that she was going to try for the cheer squad at ASU, and I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And it kind of worked out. She didn't do it. But yeah, cheer team is very, very good. And you know, people, you know what the chairwoman did? She got like gift bags, put Gatorade, the energy bar, snack bar, apples, bananas, oranges, um, little dolls there for the cheer team. And she did it for the varsity girls too, and varsity girls at Civic U, varsity boys. Um, a little packet, and there was also a card that's got like good luck Falcons, good luck Wildcats, and behind the card
A
was a
crossword.
crossword puzzle. Yeah, it's got like it's kind of a lot of words, you know, and it's going to be a fun project. I was encouraging the girls to do the puzzle with their parents or grandparents together, and you know, just something while they're doing that stay at home, at shelter in place. And so very clever idea, Chairwoman. Keep those ideas going. Yeah, it's extra work for the staff and stuff to do all of that, but all in all, it's very awesome. And yeah, very, very cool. So keep those little idea things going. All righty. Well, that's about it, I think, Chairwoman.
Yeah, just thank you everybody for watching. Jerry, do you want to say the prayer or sing a closing
Yes.
song?
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
closing
go ahead.
song, huh?
Oh, whatever you
Oh,
want.
okay. Okay. Um, all right. Well, we'll start off with the prayer. If a song comes, the song comes, okay? But if it doesn't, that's fine. Saroyana, Yada His Owlzana, Nigosana Owlzana, Nira Stijan. Yosen behuntin he, huntin hidahi, huntin saai, huntin dijit nadiotli. Yosen behuntin he, dion kilao. No we can't he, no we huntin he, digo na kalataji behada estigo. Dadiji, Yosen bigawina, bishakat dan diddles. Nigosamba kana wai, nal chol, nal ti, big stop, bedangoli, de bion zini, sane bion zini. Huntin bistawi yan, bichala tajigo, dazlin al dilna, biklana pajin. Yosen bisizini, benadatzuli, benatsikesi, benzili, benjune, bilkatan idoles. Heavenly Father, help us get rid of this COVID. Make it go away as best as possible as you see fit. Help the people that are struggling with it. Help those that are trying to fight it. Give them extra strength, 10 times strong, to keep doing what they're doing. We're thankful, we're grateful for them. Watch over all of our elders, our people that are vulnerable. We do what we do as best as we can and try to be positive, but we don't like this COVID that's around, that's changing and putting barriers in some places in front of us. Help us endure, help us overcome, help us to love one another better as you would want us to do. I thank you, Father, for this. No han no yo, no han no yo, no han no yo, yai. Ha eh hetaro answer yo, no han no yo hey yalla eh. Ha eh hetaro answer yo, no han no yo hey yalla eh. Ne ya. Zonkeni ni ai, hai yushan do let lo at din da shitendi. Dan hodan na se lo yosin bi hindai. Naya zane am behanitin. Di go be hets ayete la dase yosi yalai. Naya no han no han no han hey ya. Ha hey he daro answer yo no han yo hey yalla ha hey hetaro ansera yo no hane yo hey yala ne hey ya he ko hana ko di la di kana ko wai ye hey yo ne zini na ko shojindi na ko stijindi hande din shabilla godiya hey pichala tajida aslena anno di la se yo si yala ne hey ya ha hey piklana panje na ye zan behind Digo behets ayete ladase yo se yalai ene ya no hane yo hey yalai ha hey hedaro ansera yo no hane yo hey yalai ha hey hedaro ansera yo no hane yo hey yalai na ya no hane no hane yo hey yalai ha hey hedaro ansera yo no hane yo hey yalai ha hey hedaro ansera yo no hane yo hey yalai yeah. Good day.